Hello, welcome to Jay's Log. Today's date is November 23rd, and the time is 2:36 p.m. So, you've probably heard about the Jeffrey Epstein files dropping, and someone has made this very useful Jmail tool, and you're able to look through Jeffrey's emails as if you are Jeffrey himself. And you can search people up, like Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel. And then you can see all their emails together, which is kind of beautiful. So here they're talking about Summers. This is referring to, oh gosh, what's his first name? But he was just working at Harvard. And he stepped down. Larry Summers, this guy. So he just stepped down because of this whole thing. And then I just saw another interesting one from Ehud Barak. If you do EB, that's how he signs his emails. They do this a lot. They want to talk over the phone instead of in person. And this one is right before elections. Election day was the 8th, I believe. And Ehud Barak says he thinks that Hillary's going to win. Now, the thing is that both of the sides of that election were tied to Jeffrey Epstein. So that was kind of a thing. So, yeah, if we look at all right. So this is Jeffrey Epstein telling Michael Wolff that Clinton was never on the island. So I think he's here trying to discredit Virginia Giuffre. I'm honestly not sure how to pronounce her last name. Spelling is weird. I've heard it a lot of different ways. Who died in a car accident earlier this year. Died by suicide earlier this year after getting hit by a car. Suicide. After saying that she was in no way suicidal, of course. Yeah, so they shut her up. I saw here something interesting from Ehud Barak. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So this is a meeting between Ehud Barak, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ariane Rothschild. That's who the other email that I saw was talking about. Okay, so there's an email here where Benjamin was mad about something, and then it talks about Ariane. It's talking about Ariane Rothschild. So I think interesting all these connections are happening here. This is interesting. I don't want to bore you by looking into this a ton more, but I'll be looking into this more on my own. There's some other stuff that I want to talk about that's also coming out. So, there's Age of Disclosure. You can watch it for free if you. I used I think this one right here, maybe another one, but you can find it for free. Otherwise, it's on Amazon. So there's a lot of news about this that has been coming out, and people are probably going to be saying it's a distraction from what I was just showing. The thing is, it's not, but the messaging from it is a little concerning because the messaging is that this is majorly it's majorly a national security threat of these UFOs showing up in our airspace. And I understand why these people are coming in from that angle because they're military people. I'm also a little suspicious of the fact they're all military people and that they're pushing this we need to defend ourselves angle, when I think the important part to pull from this is that this technology has been getting reverse engineered for at least 80 years. And that we have not been given that technology, even though it has been created with our taxpayer dollars. So we paid for this technology that the documentary concludes is likely a 0-point energy technology that is able to do this. It's either 0-point energy or it is, which is quantum flux energy, or it is using entanglement to pull energy from some other source. But likely, I believe it's 0-point energy that companies such as Lockheed Martin very likely have reverse engineered and are using themselves and are not letting us use. And that is super important. That's not a distraction. That's actually very key to the state of things in the world, is the reason, because oil companies are a major player. And along with the military contractors, the two of them have been colluding, keeping this technology out of the public, because if it goes public, both of them lose all of their business. So they don't want that to happen. And these are high-ranking government officials that are telling us that aliens exist. I think we should listen to them. But I also don't think we should stress as much as this is portraying us to be stressed about this, because if these aliens wanted to take us over, they would have. They have way better technology than us. They could take us out if they wanted to, and they haven't. But I want to talk about the Legacy program. So the Legacy program is not what this is talking about. Of course, it's not. It's none of these. The Legacy program is the program that has been going on since before the CIA was created to capture and reverse engineer these crafts. And it right now exists within the private sector mainly, because they moved this research into the private sector, because if they leave it in the public sector, then they aren't going to then a Freedom of Information Act would find it. ATIP uncovered this. It's not the legacy program itself. ATIP uncovered the legacy program. They don't want us finding out more about this, it seems. They talk about this a lot in this documentary. They have some ATIP employees that are in this documentary, and they all talk about this program. And Harry Reid has been a key player in this because he started ATIP. And so ATIP was a program that was looking at these UFOs, and as it was going through and talking to different agencies, they came up against this big roadblock, and they learned about this thing referred to as the legacy program. And it's been going around since at least Roswell. And of note, Roswell happened in 1947. The exact date actually is important. It happened July 8th, 1947. And then the CIA was founded later that month. The Air Force was founded right after that. The CIA and the Air Force won't tell you anything about UFOs. They don't officially acknowledge that they exist. That's kind of sus because the Navy tells us they exist. All of the different UFO videos that have come out have been Navy UFO videos. And that's a key thing. The Air Force is not giving us this information. It's the Navy that's giving us this information. The Air Force, which was founded at pretty much the same time as the CIA, which are both founded within 2 months, or within 3 months. It was a bit over 2 months between Roswell and the Air Force. Both of them were founded then. Neither of them are telling us anything about this. The legacy program has apparently been started since before then, and it appears that both these branches are involved in it, as well as the defense contractors, and the Navy seems to not be involved because it's telling us stuff. This would be like if the Air Force not telling us stuff about this is like if there were giant ships going underwater and we were only hearing about that from the Air Force and the Navy wasn't telling us anything about it. And funnily enough, the Navy is telling us that is happening. Here's from CBS. Earlier this year, UFO is moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater. This is something that the Navy actually is telling us is happening. But anyways, this is something that's real. It's not a distraction. It's been happening for a while. I've been aware of this for a long, long time. And you're going to hear people saying that this is a distraction from the Epstein files. That's because of the timing of this movie coming out, which just started airing, I think, 2 days ago. For public, it came out at film festivals earlier this year. Apparently, it is $20 to rent it, so I highly recommend going on to one of these other sites that I was able to easily watch it. I watched it last night. Let me real quick just here we are. I was able to get in here. You gotta get through some ads first. But it's lookmovie2.to/movie/play/3552035-age-of-disclosure-2025. And I was able to get on here, and there's some cool stuff in here. I remember right around 17 minutes, there's a really cool part.
Organization, institution, religion, or government control that, or censor that, or gatekeep that. No one has the right to keep fundamental truths away from the American people and humanity. CNN has learned the Pentagon had a secretive program to research UFOs. The existence of a secret government.
All right. So anyways, watch this. All right. Some other interesting stuff that's been happening in the news is, so I know that my followers are not necessarily Candace Owens followers, but I have been following Candace Owens very closely recently. She posted something that would be a shock to most people if you haven't been listening to her, but it makes tons of sense to me. So on her Facebook, she says that she was contracted here, by someone high up in the French government, saying that the Macrons had put a hit on her. Now, you may be aware of the Becoming Brigitte series that she's had about the Macrons. Apparently, it appears that there's a decent amount of evidence that Brigitte Macron, who at best was Emmanuel Macron's teacher, 40 years old when he was, I believe, 15 when they met, and they started dating very soon. That is the at best what is going on there. But apparently it appears that there's evidence that Brigitte Macron is trans and is lying about it. And I have no problem with trans people. I love trans people. I have tons of friends who are trans. I do have a problem with liars. And I don't like that it appears that she's lying about this. And I believe Candace Owens is telling the truth here. Every time she has talked about having evidence that I've seen, when the time becomes appropriate, she shows the evidence. There are reasons for her not to divulge evidence right now, given that this says they're a high-ranking French government employee. They'll probably get in trouble if it's found out that they leaked this. She says that the French were also involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, and she provided evidence that there were Egyptian planes which were following Erica Kirk mainly, and also Charlie Kirk around. The fact that they're following Erica Kirk, I find suspicious. A lot of people are saying Candace Owens has said that Erica Kirk is behind Charlie Kirk's murder. And that's actually not something she has said, not a narrative she is pushing, but there's a lot of weird stuff around Erica Kirk. I said in a previous episode that I don't want to be questioning her, but she doesn't really appear to be super upset by what's going on. And there's some stuff that is rather questionable. So the fact that these Egyptian flights were tracking her kind of feels like maybe those are her handlers, and she was Charlie Kirk's handler, and they were having meetings. I don't know, but that kind of feels like what could be going on there. And like I want to make it very clear, like I don't politically align with Charlie Kirk. I don't politically align with Candace Owens, but they seem to be people who are seeking truth and want to spread light, and they may be misguided on certain issues and be spreading darkness, but I don't believe that is their intent. And I do align with spiritually with people who are seeking truth and wanting to spread light. So I do pray for Candace's safety here. She's been spreading a lot of good information, and there are definitely people who want her dead. So that is another piece of important news that I think needs to get talked about. I've been listening to Candace Owens every podcast since the Charlie Kirk assassination, and she's been uncovering a lot there. I think that is valuable to listen to what she's been saying. And I think that she is close to uncovering something very serious, and it doesn't surprise me that people are wanting to put a hit on her. I believe that this makes sense, and I think that she is given an unfair rap in the press, and it's a lot because people don't want you to actually listen to her. They want you to listen to what they say about her. So I would recommend going and actually listening to Candace Owens and hearing what she has to say, and recognize that you're gonna if you are similarly politically aligned to me, you're gonna hear the ads and you're gonna be like, what the hell? Like, this is not stuff that I am likely to be purchasing. It's a lot of like anti-abortion stuff and stuff like that she'll talk about. Her book is called Make Him a Sandwich. Like, I don't politically agree with Candace Owens, but I think that what she's putting out there is valuable. I don't think that you should throw out the baby with the bathwater, and I think that's what a lot of people do with her, because she's very opinionated, and I understand how she gets to the opinions. I don't think she is a terrible person for having the opinions that she has, but I don't obviously don't endorse all of her stuff, but I do think that it's valuable to listen to what she says, because she does bring receipts, and the people that are trying to attack her most of the time do not, and they've confirmed stuff like For example, these texts, is it gonna show them here? No, I have to go to another site. But Candace Owens posted some texts that said that Jewish donors were pulling funding because of him putting Tucker Carlson on, and that they were playing into the stereotypes. And Turning Point said they're authentic. Everyone was like, "Oh, no way, these are legit." Turning Point came out and said they're legit, and that's happened time and time again. As I said, I've been watching everything. I've been watching what's being said about her. I've been watching what she's responding. I'm seeing the people in the Turning Point circle, a lot of them saying lies, and I'm seeing her back up what she says. So I think that is an important story. Yeah. Anyways, that's the news that I want to cover for today. I hope you guys are having a nice afternoon. It's now 3:03 p.m. Jay's Log signing off.